everyone! I just want to take a moment and thank you guys for all your well wishes and thoughts and prayers after I posted last week's video. It means so much to me, so thank you. It's the new year now, and one of the things that I want to do is to become more organized. I'm an extremely unorganized person, and I am really bad at time management. So I'm trying to get better at these things, and one of the ways that I want to do this is by starting a bullet journal. If you don't know what those are, it's just like an easily customizable planner or journal or diary or whatever you really want it to be. I'm going to use it more as a planner. I'll leave a link down below to a website that better explains what this whole bullet journaling thing is. But anyway, I got a pretty simple dot patterned journal from the craft store, and I was going to use it just as is. It's pretty simple, which is fine. But after I got it home, I quickly decided to do a bunch of upgrades to it. So yeah, today I'm going to be showing you guys what I did to it. So let's get started. The first upgrade that I did was to add pockets to the front cover. I wanted a pocket for my ruler and then a pocket for miscellaneous things. I used some nice decorative paper. It doesn't need to be thick or anything. The stuff that I used is almost as thick as normal printer paper. For the ruler, I measured down how long I wanted the pocket to be. Then I measured 1/4 inch from the edge, and then I measured about how wide the ruler is, erring on the side of it being too wide. And then I marked another 1/4 inch, and then another 1/4 inch on the bottom. I marked the corners like so that it would fold nicely, and then I cut it out. I folded the tabs in, using the ruler to help keep the fold straight, and then I added glue to the tabs and put it in place. I actually made it a little too tight. The ruler fits in alright, but when you close the journal, you can see a perfect outline of the ruler, which I wasn't too happy with. Thankfully, the other pocket held it in place just fine. And to make this other pocket, I measured out how big I wanted it to be, marked it on the paper, and then I drew a curve going from the top corner of one side almost to the bottom of the other side. Then I marked 1/4 inch tabs from the edges like I did on the ruler pocket. Keep in mind that if you're marking this on the back of the paper like I am, you'll need to mirror which way you want the curve to slope. I cut it out, and like the ruler pocket, I folded the tabs in, applied glue, and put it in place. Next up, I wanted to cover the, cover. It may not seem like an upgrade for some of you, but I don't really like the writing on this, and it was really the only journal that they had that I sort of liked at all, and I figured covering it up wouldn't be too difficult, so yeah. I just took some black contact paper, like I used to cover my DIY sketchbook, and to determine how much I needed, I put some into the book under the cover, backside up. I positioned it where I wanted it to go, traced the cover, and then marked about 1/2 inch away from those edges. Then I cut it out, cutting off the corners like I did with the pocket pieces. I removed the backing, positioned it how I wanted it to be, and stuck it down. To avoid air bubbles, I put it down on one side and slowly smoothed it down. Then I folded the tabs in, and there we go. Cover covered. You can still kind of see the letters embossed through the contact paper, but at least for me, this is an improvement. And then it was time to add some pen loops. I wanted to do the style where one is in the front and then one is offset in the back, so you can thread your pen through both of them and it keeps the book closed. So to do this, I cut 2 pieces of elastic, big enough to fit around the pen that I'm planning on using, with about 1/2 inch or so extra on each end. I hot glued them to make them into loops, and then I hot glued one to the front cover, offset the other, and glued it to the back. I cut 2 rectangles of contact paper, cut the corners off so it was kind of decorative looking, I guess, and used that to cover the ends of the elastic. This is just an aesthetic thing. It's not really holding anything down, and I'm not really sure if I like this detail, at least how I did it. I think I could have done a better job, but I can always mess with it later. And then I wanted to add a few ribbon bookmarks, and with those, a cute little charm. For the main part of the charm part, I wanted a little tassel. I cut off a piece of faux leather, marked about 1/4 inch in on one of the long ends, and then I cut strips into it like so, stopping at the mark I made. Then I cut a long strip. I folded that in half, making a loop about 1/2 inch, and then glued it to the top edge of the fringy piece. I added more glue to the top and rolled it up like so, making a tassel. When it was as big as I wanted, I cut the extra bit off. I grabbed 2 random charms that I liked and attached them together, and then it was time to do the bookmarks. I cut 3 lengths of different types of ribbon, as long as the book, plus a few inches. And then I cut another piece that was a few inches long. Then I glued all of the ribbons together. I threaded the tassel and charm onto the short ribbon, folded it in half, and glued it together. And then I simply just hot glued it to the back, trying to get it as close to the spine as I could. As a finishing touch, I sandwiched the ends of the ribbons with the pieces of faux leather, and then I cut shapes into them like so. And then I was finally done with the upgrades to my journal. And all that was left was to start it. If you're interested in this type of planner journal thing, I suggest checking out writer Carol's website, bulletjournal.com, to read all about it. Everyone's is different, so I won't really go into how I did mine, but I'm mostly sticking to what Writer shows initially, and I'll adapt it as I use it. So here's how mine looks now, a few days in. I already sort of adapted it by adding this tracker and stuff, but yeah. I'm excited to continue using this thing. Here's hoping that I'll keep up with it as well as I have been for these first few days. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. I post art videos every Tuesday and DIY videos every Thursday. Thank you to my patrons who helped me produce this video. You guys are awesome. If you're interested in becoming a patron or learning about what the heck Patreon even is, I'll leave a link up here so you can go check it out. You can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Pinterest, or Snapchat, and I'll leave the information to those down below. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week.